Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and Xrp, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So recently from Bloomberg, we got an announcement around the SEC in talks with firms on becoming US Treasury clearinghouses. Now, Yahoo Finance did report on it, and it is because this was locked behind a pay gate, but I wasn't going to pay for it. But regardless, there's a lot of information in here. And I actually utilized ChatGPT to summarize this so I don't waste your guys' time going over, nonsense information. I want to get into the actual, information that is a big importance to anyone out there that is watching. And we got a full breakdown here. So we have the SEC's move to finalize a rule in December, necessitating the migration of a significant portion of Treasury's trading and most related repurchase agreements to a central counterparty clearinghouse, CCP, has spurred interest from various market participants. The director of the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets welcomed this interest, emphasizing that competition is beneficial for the market. Currently, the Fixed Income Clearing Corp, FICC, a subsidiary of the DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearing Corp, is the sole CCP, or in this case, the counterparty or central counterparty clearinghouse for the $27 trillion Treasury market, but only a fraction of daily trading goes through it. The prospect of new clearinghouses entering the scene aligns with regulatory efforts to bolster market resilience following trading freezes. CME Group Inc. is among the potential contenders seeking regulatory approval to clear U.S. Treasuries. The new SEC rules are expected to bring around $3 trillion in daily cash and repo trading into central clearinghouses by mid-2026. This shift could impact the basis trade, a strategy involving repos used notably by hedge funds, which has attracted regulatory scrutiny. Now, what I find very interesting about this is the focus on U.S. Treasuries, right? We already know that treasuries are being tokenized currently right now, and already there's over almost $2 billion worth tokenized, or at least the total value in this market currently. And we can see that Ethereum is the number one contender here. Stellar is number two. There is nothing on the Xrp ledger right now, which I did talk about multiple times, but we already have Franklin Templeton and BlackRock on here. There's some also other big names on here, for an example, like Wisdom Tree, for an example. There's a few other ones as well, but the big thing to focus on here is we are starting to see some very large moves around U.S. Treasuries. And when we talk about these new, firms becoming U.S. Treasury clearinghouses, do we think that Ripple could possibly become a player for this? I do believe so. And the reason why is because of some of the meetings that just happened recently around Ripple. But also, remember, right, as we do look at treasuries, they will be tokenized. We know that they will be tokenized. BlackRock tokenizing US treasuries was a big staple piece for this. Now, as we do look at that, right, and now we're starting to see this is a $27 trillion market. If we're going to start to see treasuries being tokenized and trading every single day, 24/7, 365, things could get very interesting very fast. Now, is it only going to be specific players? No, I think that there's going to be multiple winners. I think that there's going to be some pretty big names involved with this. But I do think that it could start to bleed into crypto and have a lot of these, major companies like Ripple or even Stellar be a part of it. And the reason why I say that is because already, we know that Stellar is a part of this. It wouldn't surprise me if Ripple with XRP and the XRP ledger will soon be a part of this as well, just like Ethereum is. The reason why I say this is because of the institutional DeFi focus. Now, their New York role, which it was an opportunity out there. If you wanted to get a job at Ripple and work in New York on institutional DeFi, you could have done that. But that role has since disappeared, which means they probably filled it. But London, UK is still one on here. And remember, this is institutional DeFi initiatives, and the full focus here is the XRP ledger and XRP, right? But it's also around DeFi initiatives through tokenization. We have key responsibilities here. They fully break everything down. What you'll bring, they break that down as well. And then down here, we have a few other things regarding the actual opportunity. But the thing that I really want to focus on is what you'll do, right? This is fully embracing tokenization as a whole. They fully talk about tokenization, the entire process around it, and how it leads back to the Xrp L and also Xrp. Tokenization of everything is already happening. We know that this is happening. Even here, we have build a sustainable ecosystem and generate demand through identification of financial institutions, including institutional investors and other partners who are interested in investing in tokenized real-world assets. Beyond that, there's a lot of things around ETF initiatives, more institutional DeFi initiatives as well. There's just a lot of focus on the DeFi side of this. And it's all because we're about to start to witness institutional DeFi adoption happening in a very large way. And it's all going to be fully embracing tokenization as well. Specifically, even tokenized treasuries, stablecoins, real estate, credit, you name it. Anything that you can think of will be tokenized. And we know that because of Larry Fink from BlackRock. So when we go back to this and we're looking at US Treasury clearinghouses and with, firms now becoming them, it does beg the question, is this going to bleed into the idea of tokenization of US Treasuries happening? And will these new players start to rise up to basically become a clearinghouse? It would make sense. But the reason why I'm bringing this up and the reason why I'm talking about this is because of this meeting over here. Big shout out to Subjective Views. Now, Ripple and Stellar were there. We know Stellar has already tokenized over $380 million worth of US Treasuries with the Franklin on-chain US government money fund. We have Ripple and Stellar, US Department of the Treasury. Big shout out to Subjective Views. Ripple and Stellar Org at a roundtable discussion alongside Nellie Liang, Under Secretary for Domestic Finance, US Department of Treasury, Washington, D.C., April 23rd, 2024. Discussion on the technical and regulatory requirements for upgrading the legacy capabilities of central bank money. Exploring the potential implications for consumers, investors, and businesses. They also delved into the long-term vision for the integration of CBDCs, tokenization, and stablecoins into the broader U.S. financial ecosystem, including potential benefits for economic growth and resilience. And here we have, again, Lauren Beliv, I hope that I'm saying that name correctly, Head of Public Policy and Government at Ripple, Nellie Liang, Undersecretary for Domestic Finance, and also over here from Stellar, Paul Wong, Director of Product, CBDC, and Institutional Assets, Stellar Development Foundation. Now, Subjective Views also updated this with the full list of all of the individuals involved. These are very, very prominent names. And you know what's funny about this? Is that this kind of takes me back to a lot of those meetings that Ripple had in the past. Specifically this one where you had Brad Garlinghouse sitting next to the Chief Executive Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Christine Lagarde was there, Chairman Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, and then also the Director of Monetary Markets, IMF. This is Tobias Adrian, which he has been a big name behind DLT, digital asset stablecoin initiatives, CBDC initiatives at the IMF. There's been a lot of discussions from him actually published regarding digitalization, tokenization, all that kind of stuff. And then also this one as well. And this is with, Christine Lagarde. You also had Jessie Chang, and she actually used to work at Ripple, by the way. She was on the FinTech Council at IMF. But then you also have Brad Garlinghouse over there. Very interesting. And look at all of these big names. I mean, at the end of the day, as you look at, these meetings, these go back years and years and years ago, and they're still prominent today. And then this meeting, again, just shows you how big of a player Ripple and even Stellar. Don't overlook Stellar here because Stellar is a big name. It just shows you how big of a staple piece they are in the actual real world of finance. But then also remember going all the way back to November where there was DC FinTech Week 2023. There was a lot of big names there. And of course, Ripple was there with Brad Garlinghouse. You also had Michael Barr, who is he's one of the previous employees at Ripple. I forgot. I think he might have been on the board. I might be wrong on that, but he was on the board, I believe, at Ripple. And then he went over to the Federal Reserve. He's now the vice chair of supervision. You also had Gary Gensler there, which is very interesting. But you also had Nellie Liang. She was there. Remember this back in March of 2023? You might not know, but this was actually from Nellie Liang as well. And this is remarks by Undersecretary for Domestic Finance, Nellie Liang, during workshop on next steps to the future of money and payments. Now, mind you, this is a full discussion on the next steps to the future money and payments. Going back to this, the discussion here was they also delved into the long-term vision for the integration of CBDC's tokenization and stablecoins into the broader US financial ecosystem, including potential benefits for economic growth and resilience. Let's go all the way down here to the conclusion, right? So here is a conclusion. In summary, US policymakers are evaluating whether a US CBDC is in the national interest. As part of this effort, Treasury is leading an interagency CBDC working group to support the Fed and develop recommendations related to policy objectives for which a broader administration perspective is helpful. Global financial leadership, national security and privacy, illicit finance and inclusion. Even as these deliberations continue, we recognize the importance of helping to shape global CBDC outcomes by actively participating in global standard setting initiatives and by sharing technology and technical expertise with other jurisdictions that are developing CBDCs. Wait a second. I thought that the US wasn't moving at all on a CBDC. Interesting. This was back in March of 2023. During that time, banks were going belly up. Everyone was distracted. This came out from the Treasury. Today, we now know 2 names that were in this room with all of these prominent names, okay, talking about significant things behind central bank money, tokenization, stablecoins, and the entire US financial ecosystem. If this doesn't prove to you how significant these 2 are and the weight behind them that they bring, I don't know what will. Everything, in my opinion, is fully connected, and it goes way back in time as well. A lot of what we see now in terms of announcements, it's all brewing from years ago. NDAs, things under contract that we don't even know. How many players are involved? We have no idea. But these are significant meetings that everyone should put a focus on. And then when you look at the remarks and the discussions around, what they have been fully focused on. And by the way, back in 2022, Nelly Liang was discussing stablecoins and how we can get to the point of, non-bank stablecoins becoming a big thing, because she even said that we need to support them. And then all of a sudden, Ripple is launching a stablecoin as well now, at the same exact time that they are all coming together on these initiatives and discussions. Like, you seriously cannot make this stuff up. This is how interconnected, Ripple and just Stellar, 2 companies in the space, really are. Focus on these connections. Focus on these meetings. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. But with that being said, right, to really kind of summarize things a little bit, everything is changing. As we look at these talks with firms on becoming US Treasury clearinghouses, we don't know if Ripple is going to fit the role here, but I do think that we're starting to see major changes happening around specific markets. These markets are already being tokenized as well, so it would make sense to, kind of bring in new players as well. Competition is a big thing, and they even said over here, right, like, competition is beneficial for the market, and it 100% is. And the best in class technology is the ones that will really kind of succeed. And when we look at blockchain and crypto, it's streamlining everything in a very efficient way. It's disrupting the status quo. It is the next big thing around finance and all of these major financial instruments, even, things of value like tokenized treasuries, for an example. It's a big deal. And it all goes back to this viewpoint over here where we are discussing CBDCs, tokenization, and even stablecoins and the entire US financial ecosystem. Tell me 2 names outside of Ripple and Stellar that were here at this meeting. And I actually just noticed that Chainlink Labs was here, and so was Paxos, but Paxos is more of a stablecoin issuer. Chainlink Labs, though, very interesting to see them there. Definitely focus on Chainlink Labs because they are actually a big one. Chainlink is going to be a very large player in this as well. I actually put them on the same sort of side of like Quant, right, as a major connector. So definitely focus on Chainlink, but I just noticed them on the left side as I re-look at this image. But regardless, like, they're like the only 3 companies on here that you could actually invest into in terms of like, investing into the underlying asset that they're utilizing, like Xrp Xlm and even Link. But very big moves being made. Definitely focus on this stuff. And with that being said, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the video description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.